I like to bring out a lot is Isaiah the 63rd chapter. Alright, from the top on down. So this is Isaiah 63:1. It says, "Who is this that cometh from Edom, with dyed garments from Bozrah?" Who's Edom and who is Esau, man? Right, it's the same man that goes into these different countries, right? Taking all the natural resources, man. Right, killing all the people up there. Right, when he comes into the city, right, he looks peaceful, man. Right, you know, for instance, you got this whole thing with Ebola. He goes into these different countries under the guise of the Red Cross, or under the guise of giving military aid, or what you call it, giving food for the people, man. But that's not what's in his mind, man. That's not what he's gonna. That's not what his, you know, his aim is to accomplish. His aim is to accomplish wickedness, man, to destroy people, man. Right? It says, "Who is this that cometh from Edom, with dyed garments from Bozrah, that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength?" Right? And who's coming? Who's gonna come? Who's gonna be coming out of Edom, traveling in the greatness of his strength? It's gonna be Yahushua, man. Right? It's gonna be the Lord, man. That's the man that's gonna really restore. And a lot of people, like Isaiah, don't believe that. You know, they don't believe. They don't believe that. You know, they don't believe in the Lord anymore. They don't believe in the New Testament and all of that. And really, it's not a New Testament, man. It's all one book, man. Prophets. You know, you had the laws, right? And the law constituted of prophecy, man. You have prophecy within the laws, right? He says, when thou was, you know, when thou shalt come, you know, just to make an example, when we was going to do a certain thing, and then when that point came to pass, man, that's what was going to happen. We was going to go into captivity. It didn't say if. It was always going to be. It was always written in stone that we was going to go off, right? So that we can see, you know, this is what wickedness looks like, man. That way, you know, righteousness is, you know, far more appreciated, but it does come to pass, right? But getting back into the scriptures, it says, "Who is this that cometh from Bozrah, with who cometh from Edom, rather more, with dyed garments of Bozrah, that is glorious in his apparel, right, traveling in the greatness of his strength?" It says, "I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save," right? And the Lord speaketh in righteousness, and is mighty to save. It says, "Wherefore art thou red in thine apparel, and thy garments like him that treadeth the wine." So when the vision came to Isaiah, he saw this, man. It's like, why is your garment so red? You know, the Lord wore a green garment. And when John saw the vision, the Lord saw, you know, wore a green garment. When Isaiah seen here, man, he's a man like with a black spotted garment right here, man. Right? It says, "Wherefore art thou red in thine apparel," right? And it's not like he was wearing red, like a red garment, right? Because he goes on further to say, like him that treadeth the wine fat. So the wine fat, you know, it splatters, man. It doesn't. It's not like a full color. You know, parts is gonna be the original color of the garment, and parts of it is gonna be stained, man. That's the best word for it. His garment was stained, right? It says, I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people that was, and it says, and of the people that was none with me, right? I will tread them in mine anger. And when you read this goes to prove to you, man, right, that the Lord's gonna be, man. Still, see, the scripture sometimes slips you, man, right? You know, when you're on the comment board and you know, cutting certain demons, man. Right here within the scriptures, I don't know if you can see it right there. Right there, it says, "Christ showeth his power," man. That's talking about your house side, man. Right? Because you've got certain dudes out there that don't believe, you know, in the Messiah, man. You've got certain dudes there that don't believe the Lord exists, man. And the Most High is going to be the one that's going to save you. Right here, it says, "That's mighty to save." And at the top, it says, you know, "Christ showeth his power to save," man. Right? So you're telling me that these scholars has gone off Isaiah, man? And in fact, I might do just a sit-down specific on it, man. Right? And I might go into, you know, other topics, but I might do a sit-down on that, you know, just, you know, basically, you know, putting you dudes on blast, man. Right? Because the information is out there, man. Right? You got different records, right, from these different heathen nations, basically going to show you that the Lord was on the scene, and the fear of your Yahweh and your house side, man. Right? The powers of Israel. You got the records of that in these different nations, man. Right? The Greco-Roman, they got Greco-Roman records. They got Roman records, because the Lord came on the scene in the time of the Romans, man. Right? You got Roman records of, you know, the massacre that they had within Jerusalem, where they was killing all kind of because they knew the Lord was coming on the scene, man. Right? And these Edomites are gonna pay for that, man, because that goes into another thing about these Edomites, right? And what they did, you know, what they've done to the, you know, the people of Jerusalem, man, people of Israel, Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans. man. This devil's gonna have to pay, man. Right? It says, wherefore art thou red in thine apparel, and thy garment like him that treadeth the winefat. It says, I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people that was none with me, right? Wherefore I will tread them in my anger and trample them in my fury. The Most High said he's going to trample them in his fury, man. He's going to be so, man, the Lord's going to come back with so much anger that it's like he's going to have to amp us up to be on the same level that he's on. And so much the scripture says, right, I'll put my anger upon them. Right? He's going to give us his own anger, because our anger is not going to be enough, right? It says that, for I will tread them in mine anger and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I'll strain all my raiment. For the day of vengeance is in my heart. The Lord deals with vengeance, right? Right here the scripture saying the day of vengeance is in the Lord's heart, man. Right? That's what's in his mind, man. That's what he's asphyxiated. That's what he's focused on, man. Right? For the day of vengeance is in my heart, and the year of my redeemed is come. Right? It says, and I looked, and there was none to help me, and I wondered, and there was none to uphold me. Right? Therefore, mine own arm brought salvation unto me, and my fury upheld me. And I'll tread down the people in mine anger, and make them drunk in my fury. Right? And I will bring them down, and I'll bring their strength down to earth. And what's their strength, man? Their so-called military might, right? Because that's what they proudly speak about, right? They got this, this amount of nuclear weapons, or they got this much amount of troops on the ground, and all of that. That's their strength. That's Esau's strength, right? And when you go into his blessing, that was it. That was his blessing, right? But we know that the Most High is going to bring that down through your house. He's going to bring that down. He's going to bring their strength down to the ground, right? And it says, I'll tread down the people in mine anger and make them drunk in my fury, and I'll bring their strength down to the earth. Right? Now this is going to be the other scripture I quoted in the book of Isaiah, the 13th chapter. Right, it's going to be the book of Isaiah, the 13th chapter. And pretty much the whole thing is good, so I'm going to read the whole thing. Right? It says, but the burden of Babylon, which Isaiah the son of Amos did see, says, lift ye up a banner upon the high mountain, and exalt the voice unto them, and shake the hands, that they may go into the gates of the nobles. Right? I have commanded my sanctified ones, right? And I have called my mighty ones for mine anger, even them that rejoice in my highness. Right? It says, the noise of a multitude, like mountains, a great tumultuous people. Noises of kingdoms gathered together, right, for the Lord of hosts master them up for battle. Right, and that goes into what it says in the book of Joel. Right, it's going to be the book of Joel. Okay, bear with me.
我都快被他俩搞精神分裂了，你知道吗？当时他俩。
There you go. This is the book of Joel, verse 3 and 1. On down it says, for behold, in those days, and in the time when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem. And what does it mean to bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem? It means that the Most High was going to pull us out of our captivity. He's going to turn. In fact, when you go into the scriptures, in the book of, I believe it's in Isaiah the 14th chapter, he says he's going to make us possess our possessors. He's going to turn it so, damn round, right? That the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans are going to be rulers, and we're going to be oppressors unto them, right? In fact, the book of Revelations, the 2nd chapter and the 22nd verse, best exemplifies that. Right, this is Revelations 2 and 25. It says, but that which ye have already hold fast until I come. So what do you hold fast unto? We hold fast unto this truth. right? Knowing that this man's going to be destroyed, right? He's going to be destroyed by way of those ICBMs coming from, Iranian countries and Russian countries. And the book of Isaiah, the 13th chapter, is going to show you that as well, right? It says, that which ye have already hold fast until I come, and he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations. Most High is going to give power over the nations to men that are going to hold fast to this truth, right? And he shall rule them with a rod of iron, right? And as the vessels of apostle shall they be broken to shivers, even as I have received from my Father. So we're going to break these nations, as as like how you smash, just like how you smash potter, like a pot clay, the ground, man. So how these nations are going to be smashed, man. Right? And we read that again. It says, that which ye have already hold fast until I come, right? And he that overcometh and keepeth my works to the end, to him will I give power over the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron, and as a vessel of a father shall they be broken to shivers, even as I have received from thy Father. So that's the heritage given unto the Most High, given unto the men of the Most High, by the Most High, that they should rule over their oppressors. Right, now this is back in the book of Joel, the 3rd chapter.
Yeah, I get that all the time,
right? And the 3rd chapter and the 1st verse and then it says, "For behold, in those days, right, in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations, and I'll bring them down into the house and into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and I'll plead with them there for my people and my heritage Israel." Like I was saying in the book of Isaiah, the 63rd chapter, right? The day of vengeance is in the Most High. So I said the day here where he's talking about the Most High bringing out the people into the valley of Jehoshaphat, right? And basically pleading with them for his people Israel, right? That day is coming, man, when the Most High is going to destroy a large amount of people just because they came up, they put the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans into captivity. But like how we see in the book of Maccabees, right, and how they come up and basically defile the sanctuary and the land of Israel, man. Right, that's what these Edomites are into. They're the cancer of the earth. They're the cancer of the earth, and the cancer is going to be removed, bro. Right? It says, I will also gather all the nations, and I'll bring them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat, and I'll plead with them there for my people Israel and for my heritage Israel, right, whom they have scattered among the nations and part of my land. And that goes into what he was saying also in the Maccabees, where he talks about, you got certain Israelites basically following the customs of the heathen, right? That's what he goes into that as well, man, because these heathens have scattered, the children of Israel amongst these different nations, right? To where they're gonna be certain Israelites are gonna look like Edomites or Ammonites or Ishmaelites. Right, or all these different nations, all the other 17 nations that make up the 18 nations of the world, right? For my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered amongst the nations and part of my land, they have cast lots for my people. They have given a boy for an harlot, and they have sold a girl for wine, that they might drink. Right? Yea, what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, the coast of Palestine? Will ye render me a recompense? And if you recompense me swiftly, furthermore swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your own head. Right? So the Most High there is going to show you the Most High is muster up the host. Right? He's going to gather them all together in the valley, Jehoshaphat, which is also known as, Armageddon. It's spoken of in the book of Revelation. It's going to show you that the scriptures all tie in together, man. It's all one coherent book, man. It's all in the same frequency, it's all in the same vibe. Salvation to the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, which are the Israelites, and all the Israel dispersed throughout the four corners of the earth, right? Because we've seen in the scriptures, the Most High said, these heathens have scattered his people amongst the nations, right? Furthermore, it says, it talks about the destruction, right, of Esau, of Edom, man. These different heathen nations, right? Let me read on in book of Isaiah, the 13th chapter, right? And the 5th verse, it says, they come from a far country, from the ends of heaven, even the Lord, and the weapons of his indignation. Right? It's the weapons of the Lord's indignation. You read the book of Revelations, the 18th chapter, it speaks about Babylon being destroyed in 1 hour. Right? That's talking about those ICBMs coming from them, Middle Eastern countries, all the way right on out, right? Even China, right? Because they got missiles that will hit right from China all the way out to America in 1 hour. So that particular prophecy is, just the facilities for that to be fulfilled are in place. It just needs to be, to be fulfilled, right? Right? America being destroyed within 1 hour, which we know America to be Babylon in the scriptures. Right? It says they come from a far country, even the ends of heaven, even the Lord's and his weapons of indignation, to destroy the whole land. Hail ye, for the day of the Lord is at hand, and it shall come as a destruction from the Almighty. Therefore shall all hands be faint, and every man's heart shall melt, and they shall be afraid. Pangs and sorrow shall take hold of them, and they shall fall in pain as a woman that travaileth. They shall be amazed at one another, right? Their faces shall be as flames. So, when this thing goes down, man, they're gonna be amazed one another, just how tough and how hard the Most High's wrath is gonna fall before the earth, right? And it really, right now, we're in the joke stage of this Ebola thing, and people have completely forgotten about the economy and how bad it is, right? And how messed up the whole economy is, right? People have forgotten about that. People be laughing about how terrible and how hard the Most High is gonna return, man. Right? Book of 2nd Ezra, I believe it's the 6th chapter or the 7th chapter, around about the 58th verse. Right? It says, many great miseries shall be done unto them that shall dwell in the earth in the latter times. Right? It's gonna be hard times out here, man. Right? It says, but more specifically, you Edomites, man, because that's the main precipice, or rather more the main topic of this lesson, man. You Edomites are gonna pay for what you've done, right? In the aforetime, what you've done unto the children of Israel in defiling our sanctuary, man, right? And taking our riches and all of our stuff, man, right? And you're gonna pay for that. More than that, you're also gonna pay for the captivity that you put upon the Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You're gonna pay for that, right? And you're gonna pay for that when the Lord returns, right? And raises, the 12 tribes of Israel up. It says, this is the 9th verse, Isaiah 13:9 says, behold, the day of the Lord cometh, cruel, both in wrath and in fierce anger, man. You can close the book right there knowing just how fierce the Lord's going to come, man. Right? He says, fierce in anger to lay the land desolate, right? And he shall destroy the sinner thereof out of it. The stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light. The sun shall be darkened in its going forth, right? And the moon shall cause her light not to shine. Right? That's gonna be because of those ICBMs, man. When that smoke goes up into the sky, right, and it stops the light from penetrating through, right? That prophecy is gonna be fulfilled, right? It says, and I will punish the whole world for their evil and their wicked for their iniquity, and I'll cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and I will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible, and I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of fur. Right? Therefore will I shake heaven, right, and the earth shall remove out of her place in the wrath of the Lord of hosts. In the day of his fierce anger, and it shall be as a chased roe, and it shall be as a sheep that no man taketh up. And it says, and they shall every man turn to his own people and flee into his own country, and every one that is found shall be thrust through, and every one that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. So all of these people that got treated with America and feel peaceful with America, all of that, man, gonna fall by the sword, because everyone that's joined unto them is gonna fall, man. Right? And it says, and every one that is found shall be thrust through, and every one that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. Their children, right? Children, just like how you killed off all of the children of Israel, man, right? During the time when the Lord was coming, you killed them off because you fulfilled the Lord, and you still didn't get the Lord, and the Lord is still going to come back and fuck you up. Right? Just like how you did at that time. Just like how you put our children and our wives into captivity in the times of the Maccabees, man. Right? This is what the prophecy said, is pursuant to that in terms of vengeance. It says, their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes, their houses shall be spoiled, and their wives ravaged. Right? And behold, I will stir up the Medes against them. The Medes is talking about the Russians. He's going to stir, the Mosai is stirring up the Russian spirit, because really, they're the same Edomites, man. That's the same Edomite people. That's the same group of one people. It's like the house of Israel coming up against the house of Jerusalem. Furthermore, the house of Israel coming up against the house of Judah. Right? It's all one people. They're all Israelites, man. Right? And that's how Esau is coming up against himself. And what does the scripture say? Right? A house that cometh up against each other shall not prevail, man. Right? It says, behold, I'll stir up the Medes against them, and they, which shall not regard their silver, and as for the gold, they shall not delight in it. And that's talking about them FRNs. Right? Them Russians are not delighting in them FRNs, man. Right? Them Federal Reserve notes. They're not delighting. All the Russians want, man, is really pretty much to put an end to you so-called, the so-called United States, man. Right? It says, and their bows shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity of the womb, the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall have not spared the children. And Babylon, the glory of the kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldeans, the excellency, shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. So the Most High is going to have it to where it's going to be so messed up, man. It's going to be like the new Sodom and Gomorrah, man. In fact, when you go into the scriptures, it talks about that land never being inhabitable again, man. Right, the land you know now is the USA or the United States of America, man. It's not gonna be, you ain't gonna be able to go into there anymore, man. After the Most High has done his damage to it. It says, and Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of your Chaldeans, the excellency, shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. It shall never, in fact, here it is, man. And it says, it shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Neither shall the Arabian pitch his tent there. Neither shall the shepherd make his fold there, right? And that's all pretty much, that's all like symbolic, like that's talking about these different countries coming there to make their merchandise over there in the land you know now as America, right? It says, but the wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, right? And their houses shall be full of doleful creatures, and the owls shall dwell there, and the satyrs shall dance there, and the wild beasts of the islands shall cry in the desolate houses, the dragons in the pleasant palaces, right? And her time is near to come, and her days shall not be prolonged. So the Most High ain't gonna, prolong the days of you Edom. So, Lord's willing, that was edifying to you brothers out there that are pushing this truth, right? And like to say, double honors to the apostles of GMS, right? The water Yahweh, outside, for how you put in the spirit. Want us to come out here and push this word, man, whilst the earth is in a state of sleep, man, right, in a state of hypnosis, right? So double honors to the apostles of GMS, honors to the brothers. This is it.